guys. Well, I'm working on the Sonoma today, and gonna add something to it that I want to add because I don't want to clutter up the interior or clutter up the engine bay too much. And it's something that I got probably about a year ago, and just haven't installed it in anything yet because I haven't really had a need for it necessarily. But I got it when I got it because I thought it was pretty neat, and it was cheap compared to the other alternatives out there. One main alternative, but universal control system from Lifetime LED. I got it off Amazon, but they don't list it on Amazon anymore, but I'm pretty sure it's still on their website. It's an LLL RPF 6, and it is basically a universal relay system. All your little decals and stuff, and a wiring diagram, which it's pretty simple. Your switches, which are all in one convenient location, and that's all you plug into it. And then the main unit, which is only like that small. I mean, there's my hood latch on my Sonoma. There's my headlight. There's the factory fuse box. And got 4 40 amp relays. That one's different than all the other ones. It's got a 30 amp circuit, 3 20 amp circuits, and 2 15 amp circuits. And then, so you plug the switch, so you run to your battery, though I forgot to get a stud for my side post battery. So I might have to put it on the relay center for now. Also, that's kind of a small lug, so I might have to take that lug off. You get a ground wire, get the power wire, which powers the whole system. So you're supposed to wire it to an accessory on. So you know, accessory on and the key, which I'm guessing I'm going to wire it up that way because otherwise this whole box will stay on the whole time. You'll have power running through it. And then here's all the little connectors, and they're all labeled 1 through 6. And the number 1, which is the 30 amp circuit, should be this one. I have 1 on it. Yeah, that has 1 on it. That's got a bigger opening because the gauge wire is bigger, quite a bit bigger than the other ones. All these are the same size, the same gauge, and then this one's a thicker gauge. If you pop this bottom off, you can see. I don't like that these aren't, you know, heat shrinked and stuff. I mean, it's heat shrinked on this end, so it's watertight on this end. But whatever you crimp into here, So whatever I put in there crimp, I'll have to heat shrink over, and I'll probably heat shrink over the stuff just so they don't corrode when I don't use them. But something that's not listed in any of the instructions or anything. You might see that right there. That is actually a thermal cutout. That's a thermal cutout. So it's only on this relay, which, to be honest, I wish it was on this relay because this is the 30 amp circuit. Even though they're all 40 amp relays, this one's different. But that's the way this box is. This is a universal box that you can actually get on Amazon for like, I think like $15 or something. Just this box, but nothing's wired. You don't have any of the terminals in there. You don't have any fuses. You don't have anything. So this box is just the way this box is designed. That one's different. But, so it's on a 20 amp circuit, but still, it's still got a thermal cutout. So theoretically, if this gets too hot, if one of these gets too hot and it's hot enough that it reaches this thermal cutout, it'll cut everything off. But yeah, so this is a nice, neat way to wire up switches, because to wire up 6 different components, and it's all pre-wired for you. All you gotta do is run this one to the battery, run this one, well, this one stays near the box, and this one runs in the cab. So that's all you gotta run in the cab right there. And like I said, I got this on Amazon, but they don't list it anymore. It's not on there anymore. But I did find two alternatives. The Sutech, same thing, and the Water Witch, same thing, same exact box. You could probably go to Lifetime LED's website and still get it. I didn't get it from the website because I think I saved 20 or 30 bucks, even with 10% off, getting it through Amazon, then getting it through Lifetime LED's website. So this keeps this whole thing clean. That means I don't have to have a whole bunch of different switches on the dash, you know, in different places like I do on my Jeep and my Yukon. I'm going to get some of these for my Jeep and my Yukon and consolidate a lot of the wiring, because this is so much simpler. But my plan is to put this, you know, somewhere right here. I wish these wires came out the other side, but I got plenty of metal. I can make my own bracket if need be. But yeah, so I'll show you how to install one of these and get one installed. Some of the other stuff it comes with is a bracket for the switch panel, a whole bunch of zip ties, a little fuse tap, which I might use. And yeah. Alrighty, fast forward about an hour or so, and I finally figured out practically the only place I can put it in how and where I want to, and still be able to get the lid off. I wanted to mount it over there by the fuse box, and I actually figured that I could mount it by the air cleaner, and then just, if I needed to take the air cleaner out, change it, whatever, air filter, the air filter box, and then take the air filter out, and I could just unbolt it, flip it over, which that's what I'm going to have to do here if I ever need to get to any of this stuff. Heater core, AC condenser, and blower motor. Then I'll just unbolt these and lay it over across the battery and stuff. Because I'm going to leave enough room. All of these, I'm going to be mounting these along the front. Yeah, it could be easier to go around the back for some stuff, but practically everything I'm going to be putting on here, I'll have to run along these lines that go along the front so I can fold it out of the way. But you're supposed to open it from this side, which is the small tab, and you can, but sometimes it's easier just to come over here and pull this tab off. But the thing is, you can't just put this on and snap it. There's a big tab and there's a small tab. You got to loop the small tab or big tab around, and then you can click the small tab. If you try to do it the other way, it won't click all the way, and you can wiggle the thing off. But I made one bracket, the coolant tank. There's a bolt right down there. You might be able to see it right there. Just bent up an aluminum bracket. The bracket already had holes in it, but the holes that where I needed, I had to drill. So now, as you see, it's still loose. I got to put another bracket, and I'm going to use this bolt right here, which is the other bolt for the coolant tank. That also the motor bolts on, the computer bolts on. So, yeah, I got that. I am running both these cables around the side. I'm going to bolt the main positive right here, where I have my amp ran. And then I'm going to take this, probably find an accessory fuse and cut and splice and put that little fuse cap in there. I want to have this where it runs all the time, because there's some stuff that I want to be able to turn on without the key on. But if I do that, the LED display on the switches is going to be constantly lit. The LED display has 2 different colors for the switch on position and then the switch idle off, and it's backlit the whole time. So if I power this all the time, switches are going to stay on all the time. And if this thing sits for any period of time, yes, it's an LED, but over time that's going to drain a battery. So, but yeah, let me figure out how I'm going to do this other bracket. I got a fatter piece of aluminum because I don't want to get into these computer harnesses. Not to mention it's at an angle. But we'll see what I come up with. Try to get that mounted. I also need to close the hood, make sure I got enough room, which I should, because the hood line should go down enough. But anyway, let me get this other side mounted, and then I can start running this stuff inside and mount the switch. Alrighty, finally got it all mounted, secured. There's one of the brackets right there that I already showed you, and there's the other bracket right there. You see it's bent, but I bent it that way. Besides putting it in the vise, or Craftsman, whatever, that's probably older than me. Put it in there sideways, and you can bend it, or you can bend it over, but besides it bending at a 90 degree to itself, it bends at an angle. So I did that, was able to bend it where I could get it mounted. I put it on that other screw, so it's all nice and secure. I can reach my hand back under here, open it that way, or lift it this way. But again, the big side has to go down. And then the ground wire, put it right there on the firewall ground. These are my connectors. Put one of the little twist ties that actually bundled up all this wire and put it right here, because remember, if I got to do any work over here, unbolt that, unbolt it from the firewall, and then I can take this whole thing, take that off, and I can bend it over here, on top of it over here, so I can get to all this stuff, and then put it all back. Got the wires. Haven't cut the zip ties yet. Got the wires ran around the front, along the AC lines. And I have it come over here, coming down here, put it on the stud. And amazingly, I could not find a fuse in here like I wanted. I wanted a fuse that was like the radio fuse, which is, tell me it's been on too long. It's gonna shut off. I wanted a fuse that was like the radio. You know, put it in rear accessory, it would come on. Put it in forward accessory, it comes on. And you put it back, and you pull the key out, or you just put it back, the radio has a delay. The radio stays on. I was trying to find a fuse in here that worked like that. Couldn't find one. I couldn't even find a fuse to where when I put it in the rear accessory, it would stay powered. Not in this fuse box. And the fuse box inside, yes. But I don't have enough wire to run in there. I will probably do that at a later date, because I don't really like how it's set up right now. You have to have the key all the way up, key on or running to have it work. It is what it is. But yeah, I chose this fuse right here, which is the Ignition 1 fuse, 10 amp. And I chose that one because that is the only one that I could put it in that went on with the ignition and running. That I could get the fuse thing the right way. Because power comes up this leg and travels across. I was going to put it in that one. Power comes in through this leg right here. So I couldn't fit it there because the relay's in the way. I was going to put it in this one. I couldn't fit it because this relay was in the way. This is the only one that I could fit it in where I could put it. The power comes up this leg, which it does through the fuse box. It comes in this leg right here. Comes up, goes through the fuses, and goes back down for ignition, but keeps on going to power the relay center. Now I have it just plugged up right now just to show you before I get it inside the cab. I'm going to see how much of this I can run inside, but I'm probably going to run this inside anyway because I want a place to where if I ever got to take the dash out, I want a quick disconnect to where I can just pop the connector and pull the dash out. So, see, my radio's still on, but it's not lit up. So, I'll probably have to power it off the... I'll have to find the wire in the rear of the radio and probably run one under the hood. But, lights up, and it should be off right now. It's a yellow color, red and green. One relay, two relay, three relay, 4, 5, 6. I don't know if you can hear it. I probably shouldn't be doing it with that one because that's that special relay. These are normal 5-pin relays, or 4-pin relays. That might actually be 5-pin, but you're only using 4 pins. But, yeah. So, now all I gotta do is get this through the almost impossible grommet that's down here that I freaking hate. Just getting my stereo wire through, it was a pain in the butt. I ended up having to get my drill out and drill through the rubber so I could stick it through. I used a drill and a pocket knife. Now let's see if I can get this thing through. But, yeah. But, yeah, that's where I mounted it. I ran all the wires over here. Here's the main positive right here. Connected it on top of my amp wire. I wish it had the secondary. Right here would be a secondary accessory in this fuse box, but apparently in the S10 there's not even an option for it. As you see right there, there's not even an option for it over here. That's a battery 50 amp. So that's should be everything coming in through the... No, I don't think this has a main fuse. I mean, yeah, it does. It's 50 amps, but yet the ABS is 60 amps. That's kind of backwards. But anyway, let me get this inside and show you where I'm going to put it. Alright, so after, it's probably been over an hour, a blowtorch of all things. I can't even find the stupid razor blade anymore. Razor blade, or a box cutter actually. Cut myself, ripped a fingernail. I can't see, my other hand's cut up, and I just moved the camera like crazy. Finally, remember how I said how hard it is to get through this dang firewall? Right there. Yes, that's a big hole, but don't worry, I got stuff to cover it up with. I doubt I'm going to be running much stuff through that firewall, but the more stuff you get through, the more stuff you put in the firewall, the harder it is to open it up to get to anything, because you got this space up here. Cut on my knuckle really hurts. It's not deep, but and got this much room inside. If you look up through there. Like I said, I got all that biputal rubber. Look how thick this stuff is. That's a good 1.5 inches thick. Just to go through the freaking firewall. To put my amp cable through, I took a drill and a drill bit. And a 1/2 inch drill bit, I might have went up to a 1 inch drill bit. I think I went up to my 1 inch. No, I couldn't get my 1 inch in there, so I just went 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch drill bit and wallowed it out just so I could get the amp wire through this stupid thing. That is a negative on GM. What engineer thought it was a good idea to put their boot where all the wires go through, and don't just make it look like normally where you can put a little slice on this side? You can just put a slice in and run the wires through, you're done. No, this has 2 layers. That outside layer that's still there, and then that part of that layer I just cut off. Yay, blood. Oh my gosh. But I wish I could find that razor blade because I melted the hell out of it. But I'm not going to sit here looking for it. It's probably on the ground. No, it's not on the ground. It might be inside. I don't know. All I know is finally it was all for this. Trying to get this through. And making it big enough to where later on I can run. I plan on putting a remote start on here so I can run wires for the remote start. Any type of other stuff that I plan on running. Like I said, I don't plan on running, much more stuff through the firewall. But later on, I'll be upgrading my amp, so this puny amp wire is going to be gone. So I'm going to be putting it. I'm not going to be able to fit a 0 gauge through there. A 4 gauge is probably the biggest I'm going to be able to fit through there. That's going to take up a lot of room. So that's another reason I went ahead and cut it, because bigger amp wire, this, and then alarm wires, and that's probably it that I'm going to run through there. But do it now and not later, because I was fighting my amp wire that was already in there, trying to keep it out of the way from getting cut. So yeah, let me go clean that cut out. Get this scrape on my. I got a scrape right above my about right where my knuckle of my thumb is on my other hand. Yeah, I'll be back. Alright, I might have shown y'all how to do this before, but in a Sonoma and an S10, you gotta take the 4 bolts out of here. There'll be a bolt here and one on the other side, about the same spot. And then at the bottom, there's one here and one here. And there'll be another one on the other bottom. You pull this down, and then there'll be a bolt here, and a bolt here, and then you can pull the surround out. Oh, don't forget that one. But then you can pull the surround out. And then, of course, you'll have to unplug your switches. If you got the airbag module, unplug the airbag module, but don't do what I did. See how mine's all floppy? That's actually the switch coming apart. As you can see, that white spot right there, that's the part that clips in. This is the front of the switch. I unplugged it, and when I went to plug it back in, I couldn't get it, so I pulled this airbag piece out. The glue that holds this front piece on, the back piece, is very brittle in old age, and when I popped it out, it became loose. First it was only at the bottom, but I guess my subs rattled it all the way loose. But I shouldn't need to pull this all the way out, so I don't think I'm going to unplug anything. What I'm going to do, I'm going to mount the switch on here. This is your four-wheel drive. If you had a four-wheel drive, your four-wheel drive buttons would be right here. So I'm going to take the bracket and put it right here. I need to see, Okay, that can fit through there. Yeah, I wanted to make sure that when I put the switch right here, that when I go to take this off, all I should have to do is pop this piece out. Yeah, just, ow! I got a metal splinter. I got a metal splinter somewhere. Ow! But all I gotta do is pop this piece out, and then I can take this and run it through the back side. So I'm actually gonna take I'm actually gonna cut a slot in here to where I can run the wire through, because it'd be a big hole to drill to get this piece through, and all I'd have to do is cut a little slot in here, and I'll be able to just pop this out, run that through, lay it over the dash when I need to pull this dash piece out whenever I need to mess with the radio or the HVAC or the gauges, putting LEDs in, you know, that kind of stuff. So trying to figure out, I'm guessing the best place to put it. I guess that's no structural support. I guess I can just, I mean, that is kind of structural support. Made in Canada. But I guess I'm just going to cut a slice through here, big enough for that cable to fit through, and then I can run the cable down the dash to down there where it's coming through the firewall. Just barely coming through the firewall, but it's coming through the firewall. So we're going to cut this and get the switch on. And there it is. Cut a little notch in it with a it's a cheap, it's got it from Harbor Freight. It's like a little metal disc, kind of like a cutoff wheel, except it's diamond coated. And I was using it to cut those aluminum brackets. It doesn't cut it very fast, but it cuts it. Metal, not really. Doesn't really cut metal. Cuts plastic great. Cuts wood pretty good. But I used that, made a little notch in it, kind of crooked, and got a little bit close with the grinder, with the Dremel right there, and up in that corner when I was cut through the backside. But it fits like that. Gives me about another width and room. Now, get the metal bracket. That metal bracket is not going to work. Because the metal bracket's designed to mount like right here. Oops, like right here. Don't know if I want it there. I kind of want it flat. Let me think. Alrighty, I pretty much got it done. Just got to wrap it up. Also noticed, whoa, you look right there. See how that's not green? Now, I also figured out green is off. I also figured out green is off. Yellow is on, but if you look at that, there's red at the bottom. That's because the green LED in the center is not working. I'm guessing, the only thing I can think of, when I was putting all that torque, on this bracket to bend it, and I had this attached to it, I think I might have ruined that center LED. That's the only thing I can think of. Or moving the cable back and forth that messed it up, but it still works. It's just I got a dead spot now, and that kind of sucks. That I got a dead spot. That really sucks. Oh well. Whenever I start getting some more, and whenever I get one for the trail Jeep, I'll probably put this module in the trail Jeep, and then rob that module from it. But I got it ran back here, all the way down. Oh, there it is, right down there. Way down there. Got it coming through right here. Got it running down through the hush panel, or kick panel, and then the hush panel down here. I'm just going to leave these wires loose under the hush panel. Steering column is not going to get in the way. I'm just going to leave this down here, and I'll probably put a zip tie right here to hold it, just to hold them together. And then I'm just going to bolt this back up and be done. And then, again, I'll show you, once I get this all back together, I'll put a sticker on there. And I guess I'll show you the box. And by the sticker, you'll be able to tell what it is, but you won't be able to 100% tell unless you actually go to the website of the what's on the box, and then you might be able to see which one I got. Anyway, I'll be back. Alrighty, one last final product product install overview. Here's the box, which again you can get to either way. It's easier, honestly, doing it this way, even though that's not the proper way technically. That's position 1, and it actually tells you on here. Switch position 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then it tells you the relays 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, and it actually, technically, it's a, yeah. Actually, that's the only spot it says anything. This box has a temperature protection switch. Temperature higher than 100 Celsius, and all the relays will be automatically disconnected. That's the only thing you get about that thermal cutout I was talking about earlier in the video. But made a bracket. These are the pigtails, which I'm probably going to wrap up with electrical tape right now. Both wires come through here. Got one of those little twist ties. So need to get to this stuff. Unbolt it. Take that off. Take the ground off the firewall and just fold this whole thing over, and I can get to anything I need to over here. Have it running up the front, have it split off and going inside, and then have it going right through here. Wires going into here, main power wire. It's bolted on here. The activation for the switch box inside, I have it zip tied on this, going into one of the ECM fuse spots. Also clearance the underside of this because there's actually a groove that fits all the way around this box, so I clearanced it so this little wire would fit in. Going in through the firewall, took forever to get through the firewall. Most of my time was going through the firewall and making those brackets. Going up through here, going up through the hush panel, up through the dash, across the top, and right here. And you might have already seen it, but yeah, that's the only thing about that that light being out. You can't really see the rock. We'll see what it's like in the dark when I pull it outside. But like I said, green's off and that yellow color's on. That's kind of cool though. With the green LED being out on the bottom, when you click it, it's just red. And Infinite Off-Road is the company. Shadow Reaper is the product. And if you saw the sticker I put on there, you can probably figure out what these are. But I'll be doing that tomorrow, and hopefully there'll be another video up tomorrow. Well, tomorrow's Sunday, so if this video doesn't go up till, because it's 9 o'clock now, I still got to edit it, then render it, then upload it, so it's probably not going to be up till midnight or 1 o'clock. So tomorrow, as in Sunday, there should be another video up. Maybe Monday morning, but there's going to be another video up on these things, if I can get everything done tomorrow. So, yeah, there's a sneak preview of what is to come in the next video. And that was how to install the Lifetime LED, I forgot the name, Lifetime LED switch relay box. And it's simple. Yeah, this specific vehicle, it was, you know, custom brackets, hard to get to the firewall, but it's all there. It's simple. Put the box down, hook power to it, put a switched power in it, ground it, run the cord in the side, and put the switch in, and that's it. Then to add your products, all you got to do is splice them into these, and that's it. You don't have to go through individually fusing and relaying everything like I got on my Jeep and my Yukon, because I got a bundle of wires on the positive battery post and a bank of relays on the driver's side, and I think I got a relay by my hood hinge, I think I got a relay by the battery. You know, I got a lot of stuff everywhere. So this makes wiring a whole lot simpler and a lot cleaner, because that's practically all you got running through the engine bay till you start adding loads. So anyway, that's it. I'll talk to y'all later. Hopefully tomorrow.